What's going on, guys? You know who it is. Ali here, back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about how to give somebody advice. If you're the type of person that listens to, personal development videos, and you read books, or you're always expanding your knowledge, sometimes you listen to a piece of information and you're like, wow, like that piece of information could be really useful for that person, right? Now, you want to be careful when giving advice, right? Because people are sensitive about it. And one thing I want you to realize when giving advice is that you're actually criticizing somebody, right? It is constructive criticism, right? And I am saying this in order for you to realize what advice really is, how advice is taken from another person, right? For another person. So realize that it's constructive criticism, right? And you have to be very delicate and properly articulated when giving that advice. So how do you go about giving advice, right? And there's gonna come a point in your life where you're gonna have to do it, and you're gonna have to receive it as well. If you have formed a mastermind group, right? That's from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which means, of the meeting of two minds or more in order to get a major definite purpose. When you get like two personal trainers together, you get two yoga instructors together, you get two businessmen together, right? They're coming together for a project, right? And no two people will ever look at things exactly the same way, right? That's very, very important to realize. Right? There isn't gonna be one person that's gonna be like, oh, we look at life exactly the same way. That doesn't exist, because unless you guys were, identical twins and born together and had the same exact life experiences and interpreted them in the same exact way, then it's damn near impossible. So there's gonna be differences in visions, right? So there's gonna come a point in your life where you're gonna have to give some advice. So how do you give advice? First thing I would say is you want to give them compliments, right? You want to compliment them on what they're doing right first, and tell them about the impact that they're having on the project and on your life and all that stuff. And that softens them up. Give them a couple things, around 3 things, and then when you're giving them that advice, just give them one advice, one thing on what they're doing right or wrong, and that can and see how they take it. Don't exceed more than one, because then they're gonna become very defensive and be like, whoa, you're attacking me now. I remember at one point I had a friend who gave me some advice. He didn't have to compliment me on anything for him to do it, just because I've got a thicker skin. And he just told me like, oh, you're doing this wrong. I was like, yeah, right. And he was like, oh, while we're at it, you're doing this. And I'm like, whoa. Don't, take it easy, right? Don't just give me a list of things that from your perception are wrong, right? And it's like you give, when you're criticizing somebody, give them one thing and then provide a solution. Don't just criticize them, Don't just tell somebody they're an idiot, for example, without telling them like how they can become smart. Don't tell somebody they're weak without telling them how to become strong. So that's very, very important to keep in mind. You know, when criticizing somebody, give them the solution, and criticize them and give them advice on one thing only. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you're thinking, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.